holiday. Welcome back to the very first episode of Smart Mandarin in 2020. If this is the first time you're on my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Katrina. I'm the founder and the Mandarin teacher of Smart Mandarin. My job is to help you speak Mandarin with confidence and joy. And in today's episode, I'm going to share you my tips of how to improve your Mandarin. I know that a lot of people's New Year resolution, oh, by the way, I have a New Year's resolution video, which is right here, or I put the link down below in the description, is to improve your Mandarin Chinese. But how to improve your Mandarin Chinese? In this episode, I'm going to give you some tips and some apps or website that you could use to improve your Mandarin Chinese. So without further ado, let's get started. So first tip is try to practice Mandarin as much as possible if you are in the environment. So if you are traveling to Taiwan or to China, or even you're living, working in Taiwan or China, it is super important to immerse yourself in the environment. Try to practice as much as possible. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, I am in your shoes. So some of you, if you have followed me on my Instagram, which the account is right there, if you follow me on my Instagram, you know that I'm currently learning German language as my second foreign language, and I went to Austria for travel last month. I was traveling in the foreign language that I am learning currently. So I was in your shoe when I was in Austria. I know it's easier said than done to practice as much as possible. You're so afraid to have the first big step to practice with a native speaker when you're in Taiwan or China. So here's my tip of teaching you how to get ready before you practice. So here's what I do. So whenever you are in China or Taiwan, you try to practice your Mandarin. So the first thing you encounter is to order food, drinks, coffee, or to buy tickets, to ask for direction, etc. So before you get ready to talk to a native speaker, what I usually do is I usually first step aside and watch how other native speakers are talking to each other and eardrop them. I pay attention to what they say in their conversation first to prepare myself. Then I take a big step to practice my foreign language. So here is my tip to you. I know it's very scary. If you want to practice, take the first step to practice how to buy a meal, how to order food, how to order drinks in Mandarin, because you know people are talking really fast and you know that there are a lot of customers behind you. You know everybody's in the rush, so you have to speak Mandarin as fast as possible in real time. So my suggestion for you is to step aside, okay, to see how other people are talking first, to listen, pay attention to the conversation of how native speakers are talking to each other. Then to prepare yourself, when you're ready, you can go ahead and try to practice. So this is my first tip, to get ready, to pay attention, to see, to observe how other native speakers are talking to each other, and prepare yourself and take the first step to practice Mandarin as much as possible. That is the first tip. And the second tip for you is, a lot of people told me that when they talk to the native speaker, they try to talk in Mandarin, but they got the reply in English. So they got really, really frustrated. They think that, is it because my Mandarin is not good, is awful, so that's why people try to speak English when I try to speak Mandarin and people speak English back to me? Is that a reason? Listen, I was also in your shoe when I was trying to practice my German. So I had the same thinking, I had the same feeling, frustration like you had in Mandarin. But the truth is, it probably yes that your Mandarin is not good enough. That's why people are speaking English back to you, or English is much easier when you're talking to a foreigner, right? But don't get frustrated. Even your Mandarin is not good enough. That's why you have to practice. So do this. Next time, when you try to speak Mandarin to the native speaker and they say English back to you, you keep talking in Mandarin. Why? Because if they could speak English, reply to you, it must mean that they understand what you say in Mandarin. That's why they could answer you. So you're on the right track. So my tip for you is keep talking in Mandarin. Don't be afraid. Again, I know it's so much easier to say than done, but trust me, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, as many times as you practice, the more you feel confident, the more you feel not afraid or scared of speaking Mandarin Chinese. So just do it. Insist talking in Mandarin Chinese unless there's emergency that you have to talk in English. Alright? Tip number 3. Tell people that you need to practice your foreign language. You need to practice Mandarin. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. When I was in Austria, I was buying a ticket. I tried in German. Buying a ticket from Vienna, Austria to Slovakia. I tried all in German. And the ticket lady, she was really nice. She talked to me in German 100%. And I only understood like 60%, 50%, but I understood the keywords, so there's no problem for me to buy the ticket. And then I say to the lady, the ticket lady, I say, in German of course, in the target language I want to practice, I say, I'm sorry, my German is not good, but I really want to practice while I'm here. So this is what you can do while you're in Taiwan traveling or in China. You can tell people that 对不起，我的中文不好，可是我想练习。对不起，对不起 I'm sorry， 我的中文不好 My Chinese is not good。 我的中文 My Mandarin， 我的中文 My Mandarin， 不好 Not good， 可是 But， 我想 I would like to， 练习中文 I would like to practice Mandarin or I would like to practice. Say again. 对不起，对不起 I'm sorry， 对不起，我的 My 中文不好 My Mandarin is not good， 可是 But 我想练习 I would like to practice. So you can say that to people when you're practicing. I'm sure that 99% of people, Mandarin speaking people, they would understand you, and I'm sure that they will be so willing to help you practice your Mandarin Chinese. So tip number 3 is don't be afraid. Just think about it. If you are, I don't know, if you're a Japanese or you're a French people, and then you hear a foreigner say they want to practice your language, I'm sure that you're going to be very happy and willing to help the foreigner to practice your mother language, right?
Hey guys, I'm going to share something really happy. I just booked a ticket from Vienna, Austria to Slovakia, the capital, and I used German to book my tickets, and the ticket lady, she's very nice and she spoke really slowly in German to me, and I told her that I was just practicing my German, and she's like really nice, and I got my ticket with German. Like I booked my ticket all the way in German.
Tip number 4, jot down everything. So after you're in the environment practicing your language, target language, here example is Mandarin, right? So when you practice on the street with people, with a native speaker, you will have a lot of questions. For example, when I was at McDonald's, I want to order food and I want to say, I want meal number 1, meal number 2. And I realized in Austria, I didn't know how to say meal. I know how to say number 1. I could say, I want number 1, but I want to say, I want meal number 1. So I realized I didn't know how to say that. And in your case, Mandarin as well. So when you are ordering food and drinks, whatever, you would realize that there are a lot of things or something that you don't know how to say in Mandarin Chinese. So here is your job after practicing. jot down. Just write down the things that you realize you don't know how to say it. Yes, write down the things that you don't know how to say it. When you practice like, oh, I don't know how to say this, I don't know how to say that, write it down. Just put that in your phone. And when you go home, you can ask your teacher or you can check on the dictionary. That's what you need to do. That's why you can improve. So next time, when you are in the same scenario, when you are in the same situation, you could speak more fluently and you know exactly what you need to say. So tip number 4 is jot down the things that you don't know how to say and check that with the teacher. Ask a question to the teacher. That brings us to tip number 5 is have a professional teacher that you can always go to. I know that this is a very obvious tip that to have a professional person to go to. But a lot of people, they think that they can just learn a foreign language or Mandarin just by using the free resources and the random resources, and they can learn systematically. For some people, they might be yes. But in my opinion, for students or people who are learning Mandarin Chinese but not finding a professional teacher or a professional help, is like a patient who is sick, of course, but not go see the doctor. If you get sick, you should see a doctor. If you have questions in Mandarin, you should find a professional teacher to ask your question, right? It's like a patient who is sick but doesn't want to go see a doctor, think that they can use the over-the-counter medicine or random remedies to help themselves. So for students also, a lot of people, they think that they can just find random resources online and they think that they can help themselves to improve Mandarin. For some people, yes, it might work. But for most people, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. But at least it doesn't work for me. I need a professional person that I can always go to if I have a question. So I think that is same to you. If you have a Mandarin question, who are you going to ask? Who can you trust? So if you don't know, by the way, if you don't know that I have courses about learning Mandarin Chinese, and if you're interested to become my lifetime student, that you can always go to when you have Mandarin questions. My school link is down below. You can consider being my lifetime student, becoming my lifetime member. That is tip number 5, to find a professional teacher that you can always go to. Tip number 6 is to pay attention to your environment. Okay, so if you happen to be in Taiwan, to stay in Taiwan maybe for a job, for work, or for travel, just pay attention to the signs that are around you. For example, you open the door, close the door every day. So you might see the sign to push the door or to pull the door, the sign every day. So if you see the sign that is every day around you, this is a good chance that you can recognize some Chinese character in daily lives. So here's my suggestion. If I were you learning Mandarin Chinese and I see the signs every day in my life, I would take photos of the everyday signs that I see and go home, check and look on the dictionary. I'm sure that it will improve your Mandarin very, very effectively and very, very soon. So don't forget, if you have the environment that is really helpful to you. So if you have the environment, Mandarin environment around you, just take advantage of that and use the most of it. Now, let's talk about some apps and websites that you can use to help you improve Mandarin Chinese. The first app I'm recommending is called Pleco. Okay, so Pleco, I think everyone knows Pleco. Almost everyone knows Pleco. It is a free app. Of course, there are some paid functions, but for most students, free app is totally enough. It's an online dictionary. So if you see the signs that are around you and you don't know what it means in Mandarin Chinese, you can take out your phone and check the dictionary, check Pleco. You can either write in pinyin if you know what it means, what it sounds in pinyin, and you can type in pinyin to check the word. or you can just write down the character and to check the character. And the second website I'm going to recommend is yellowbridge.com. Yellowbridge.com is a website. It doesn't have a phone app, but it's a website dictionary that you can check the words, check the character, and it gives you the examples, the pronunciation, the components of the character if you want to or try to recognize a character, which I recommend. And number 3 app is Quizlet. So after you learn a lot of vocabulary, you want to try to remember, you need some flashcards. So Quizlet is a really good app that you can make your own flashcard to review with your phone every day. So this is the number 3 app that I am recommending to you. Number 4 is Pinterest. I don't know if you have a Pinterest account, but I think you can connect your Pinterest account with the Facebook account. So if you have a Facebook account, then you can create a Pinterest account. And on Pinterest, there are a lot of flashcards and vocabulary. So all you have to do is to search the things that you want to learn. The next one is podcast. If you're a person who has to commute to work and home every day, or you're a person who always in a long drive, you drive a lot, you want to make the most of your drive, to make your drive more efficient, then you need to listen to some podcasts, which by the way, Smart Mandarin has a podcast lesson on Spotify. So if you have a Spotify app, you just search Smart Mandarin and you can search my podcast and listen to my podcast every day whenever you're on the drive or doing whatever, your housework or whatever, you can learn from the podcast. So make the most of your drive, make the most of your little time. Podcast is a great resource that you can learn Mandarin Chinese on the go. And don't forget, search Smart Mandarin on Spotify. I offer free podcasts every week. So what if you are not in the environment? If you're not in Taiwan, in China, you're not in the environment, how are you going to immerse yourself in the environment? Here's my tip. First of all, you can use the app that I just mentioned. You can listen to the podcast on the go every day to immerse yourself in the environment. And don't forget, I have a podcast on Spotify again. And so second of all is podcast, of course. And third is that you can watch some Chinese drama if you want, or Mandarin speaking drama, but not too many. I recommend just watch 1 or 2 of your favorite Chinese drama and just listen to it, watch that over and over again, and try to pick up some phrases and sentences from the drama so you could also immerse yourself in the environment. Remember, repetition is very powerful. If you watch something or listen to something over and over again, you will pick out the sentences and phrases from the drama and from the song. So that brings us to tip number 3. If you're not in the environment, just pick 1 or 2 of your favorite Chinese song, listen to that again and again. Also, try to pick up some vocabulary. You don't have to learn the whole lyrics, okay? You just need to try to pick up some sentences that you understand or the vocabulary. Also, put yourself in the environment. If you don't have one, create one. If you need somebody to talk to, you can always go to some language exchange website, maybe on Facebook or some language exchange websites, to find online language exchange or real-life language exchange partner to practice your language. Also, to give yourself a person, a native speaker that you can talk to. The last tip for someone who does not have an environment is to think in Mandarin. That's right. So in your daily life, you think in your own language. In my case, I think in Mandarin all the time. So if I want to say, okay, let's just turn on the computer, let's just close the door, and then I need to think that in the language I'm learning. In your case, you think that in Mandarin. So whenever you get up, or you wash your face, you brush your teeth, and you think, how do I say brush my teeth, wash my face in Mandarin? How do I say turn on the computer in Mandarin? So think in Mandarin. If you find yourself don't know how to state that, or if you want to express something and you find yourself don't know how to express certain things in Mandarin, jot down. Okay, just write them down and check the dictionary also, or you could go to a professional, as I told you, that to ask your Mandarin teacher how to say those in Mandarin Chinese. I'm sure with those tips that you will improve your Mandarin in no time, because I literally use that on myself. So I'm sharing those tips with you guys too. I hope you find those tips very helpful and find this video lesson very beneficial. If you like it, please hit the thumbs up and share to your social. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because in the year of 2020, I am uploading one video lesson every Thursday, Taiwan time, every Thursday, and maybe every Sunday. So make sure that you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any lesson from Smart Mandarin. In the next video and next following videos, I'm going to share some very useful, practical Chinese phrases and sentences for beginners when you are traveling or living in China or Taiwan. So make sure that you stay tuned to my Smart Mandarin channel. And while you're waiting for the next video lesson, you can watch these two video lessons that I made last year. They were really, really good. And also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go to my Smart Mandarin Katrina Lee on Instagram. I have one mini video lesson every week on IGTV. And also, if you want to be my student, you know where to go. The link is down below to become my lifetime student. Last but not least, if you want to become my Smart Mandarin support community member, the link is down below. Facebook support community is free for everybody to join, as well as you answer questions when you enter the group. And I host live stream lessons every week in the Facebook Smart Mandarin support community. Whew, that's all for now. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. 谢谢你们，再见。